What's going on, everybody? How was your New Year's? Mine was great. Well, until I saw this video. I'm over here smoking and drinking, having a good time, and I see this, and it totally ruins my evening. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to my regular schedule of making videos every week. I mean, that's what happens when you got holidays, man. You know, there's three types of people I hate in this world. Shillers, woke people, and But that should be pretty obvious just by watching my channel, you know. So anyway, this guy's a shiller for Borderlands 4. I'm not sure why, the game looks like shit to me. So, without further ado, let's get straight into this video.
Oh boy, I'm gonna get some hate for this one. The first teaser for Borderlands 4 dropped in August, and like many people, my first thought was, wow, that was a whole lot of nothing.
So, we're gonna skip through all this as usual. Just skip through the parts we don't really care about. Let's just do that.
But let's start with the most debated topic since the trailer dropped: the character designs. On the one hand, you have people saying the designs look boring, bland, icky, garbage, insulting to the very idea of art. And on the other hand, you have people saying, well, none of the games have particularly unique Vault Hunters, so it doesn't matter. Which means at least they agree they're boring, right?
Now, if you were like me when you first saw this amazing claim that he just put in his video, you're probably just as confused as I was when I first heard this. What are you talking about? All the Vault Hunters look boring. Borderlands 1, 2, and pre-sequel have the most well-designed, coolest looking Vault Hunters we've ever had in the series. Gage is probably the coolest looking character I have ever seen. Lilith is pretty cool. Brick, Mordecai, Roland, Maya, Gage, Krieg, and pretty much any other Vault Hunters not in 3 or 4 look fucking awesome. What are you talking about, dude? And I tried going on the online to see if there's any other consensus that had this kind of idea, because I thought that was very strange. Because from what I know in the Borderlands community for, years that I've been inside of it, because, Borderlands is one of my favorite series of all time, I find it very strange that he came up with this claim. And if that's the case, then they're probably not real Borderlands fans, dude. If they think that every single character or Vault Hunter in these games are boring and have, no good designs or anything, then they're not really fans, dude, and you were just being gypped. That's all I'm gonna say, because I think all the Vault Hunters, aside from, Borderlands 3 and 4, look fucking cool, so I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Not actually, of course, people can't agree on anything. Personally, I don't think we'll ever have Vault Hunter designs as good as the old ones. Salvador is wearing a ripped t-shirt on top of another t-shirt and jeans. How can you ever top that? Zane is just a guy. It just isn't the same. These new Vault Hunters just aren't unique at all. And as some people have pointed out, they have absolutely no personality. I mean, we haven't really seen them do anything other than stand in a line and play Beat Saber, but as they say, always judge a book by its cover. Who cares what their personalities are like? Who cares what their action skills are? If they look generic, then the game is going to be bad. It's as simple as that.
Well, yeah. Step one in any, game making or book making or whatever, you make the designs memorable. That's how you know what personality these characters have. For instance, if I looked at Lilith's character design, which is a great character design, I can already tell what her personality is just by looking at her. She's a little narcissistic, she thinks she's cooler than she really is. The way she stands shows that she's confident in herself. And while these aren't, necessarily the best personality types, you can just tell by looking at her what she's going for. And, Gage, by looking at her, you can tell that she's a young, baby-faced adventurer who loves robotics, because, she's got a robot arm here, showing that she's got a thing with robotics. She's obviously in high school, or school, whatever, because of her, her clothes, looks like a school student. By her hair, you can tell she's a little rebellious. You can tell who these characters are just by looking at them. That's great character designs. The problem with the characters in Borderlands 3 and 4 is, what can you tell me by looking at her? What can you tell me by looking at this character? I don't fucking know. She likes pink, I guess. She's got a cool hair. I don't fucking know. What can you tell about her? She doesn't do anything. However, just by looking at the Vault Hunters from Borderlands 2, you can tell exactly who they are and exactly what their personality types are. Except Axton, I guess. He's probably the most bland looking one out of all of these. But the point still stands. Character design is the greatest thing you can do for your characters. For instance, if we look at something like anime, to step out of video games for a second, the character designs I can think of that are fucking fantastic is Ryuko Matoi from Kill la Kill. Just by looking at her, you can tell immediately that she's a rebellious teenager who is more libertarian because she does whatever the fuck she wants on her grounds. So, yes, you can tell exactly whose personality type is which just by looking at them. And if the character designs look like shit, then you can tell that there's something going on here. If I look at an anime and I see this as a character design, you've already lost me at watching the show. If I boot up a game and the first character design I see is this, then you've already lost me, you know? There's like no going back. Like, the characters have to be super well written for me to really get into them without even knowing who they are by just looking at them. And I know that this seems weird because, you know, one of my favorite games ever is The Walking Dead Season 1, but the point still stands. I can tell exactly who Lee is just by looking at him. He used to be a hardworking dude who is in a bad situation just by how his eyes look and how his body stance is. You can tell he suffered a lot just by looking at him. And sure, I may not know the deep intricacies of his personality because, you know, he hasn't done anything yet, but by looking at his character design, I can tell exactly who he is. That is the point of character design. Great character designs show you who the character is by looking at them and what their personality is going to be. I don't see anything by looking at these new characters because they look generic and bad. And yeah, they some of them have like crazy hair or something, but that doesn't really tell me anything if they're just bland, generic colors. For instance, I can tell exactly who Roland is just by looking at him. If you guys are gonna go in the comments and call me a racist or something, I can tell who Roland is. Look at him. Can't you tell me who he is just by looking at him? I can. He's a serious army general guy who wants to protect his friends. At least that's the implication I get just by looking at him. You can immediately tell what he is. Character design isn't just judge a book by its cover, it's by telling me who the character is. And I don't want to repeat myself again, but you guys have to understand why we need good character design. It's... I find it, like, really amazing that I have to say this to actual gamers where the whole fucking point of characters in games is just book by its cover. The point of video games is a visual and a medium where you interact with it. Your characters should look good.
To some people on Twitter, but here in the land of having more than 3 functional brain cells, looks are obviously not all that matters, and we're gonna have to wait for more information before we come to any conclusions.
Again, character design is a great way to see what the quality of a game is. Not always, but most of the time. Like, if you're gonna make a game, you want your characters to look good, memorable, and more of a mascot for your game. Like, for instance, Sonic the Hedgehog would not be as critically acclaimed or as memorable as it is today without the great character design of Sonic himself. Just by looking at Sonic, you can tell exactly who he is and what his ideas are. You can tell exactly who Tails is, you can tell exactly who Shadow is, and exactly who Knuckles is. Great character designs, you need them. If I boot up a game or I see a game trailer and the character designs look like this, I don't have enough hope for what the game quality is going to be. In fact, did you know that Borderlands quality is by how the characters look? For instance, look at Handsome Jack, he's fucking cool, I can tell exactly who he is, and I fucking love him, and I love his character design, I love the game that he's in. What can you tell me about these guys from Borderlands 3? They look like shit, they look stupid, they look like Twitter people. Oh, and guess what? The quality of the game sucks. What can you tell me about this girl from Borderlands 1? Well, Borderlands 1 is actually a pretty decent game, but it's not the most memorable game, I guess. But the point is that character design can show you the quality of a game. That's so stupid. I can't believe I have to say this to gamers. Like, you guys should know this. Like, this guy is not a Borderlands fan, dude. I don't think he is. Like, he would know this. You gotta have good character designs in a Borderlands game. It's like, it's pretty fucking relevant.
That being said, I don't think they look boring or generic. The siren has pinkish purple tattoos. Every siren has had blue tattoos, but not this one. What's that about? I'm excited to find out that it's actually nothing that interesting. Big guy here looks like the love child of Brick and Wilhelm. Do we call him Brillhelm? Brickhelm? Willick? I don't know, but I like him. And for this person, some people have said her pants look like they're from a Molly 1 soldier uniform. We've had former soldiers from Atlas, Dahl, and Vladoff, so now to have a former Molly 1 soldier, it would make a lot of sense. I want to set people on fire, and I bet she can do that. And then this guy. I can see why he's the only one who we saw using his action skill. Overall, I think they look fine. But the guy on the left is definitely a little on the boring side.
Okay, but what can you tell me about them? You just kind of described what they're wearing. What can you tell me about these characters? You can't tell me anything about them because they're fucking boring.
I want to see what their action skills are before I decide how I feel about them, but if you do think they look boring, then it's a damn shame this isn't a first-person shooter where you almost never look at your character. Truly tragic.
Wow, what a tireless argument. But you can't see them, so their character design doesn't matter. Dude, this is a character design. It's not the same thing as a skin in a first-person game. That's not how this works. You can't excuse your poor actions of making a character by just saying, oh, but they're first person, so it doesn't matter. No, that's not how this works. You can't do that. You can't do that. If I boot up a game and my character looks like this, then it's gonna make me give questions? I'm just saying, like, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're just dumb. I don't know what dumb. Even if you can't excuse the poor character designs, oh, because I'm not gonna see them, which doesn't make any sense at all. Like, if that was the case, then God, if that was the case, the Ghost from Call of Duty would be a bad character design, or his character design doesn't matter because it's a first person. No. The reason why people think he has a great character design is because he does have a great character design. He's cool, and I like him a lot. I love Ghost, he's so cool.
However, I do feel the need to bring up the fact that the developers do in fact have access to the internet. Remember back, oh god, I'm gonna feel old, 5 years ago, when the first trailer for the Sonic movie came out and it looked like dog shit, so the internet bullied them into making it look better? I'm willing to bet that's gonna happen here, so I wouldn't worry too much.
Okay, but like you said, if the developers just use the same excuse, oh, the people playing the game won't see the character, then they're not gonna change the character designs, stupid. Like, this is a video game. This is a movie. They're gonna change the movie version because you're gonna be looking at Sonic the whole time. That's how this works. Like, how can you use the argument, oh, they're gonna change the character designs, when you just said 5 seconds ago, oh, but you're not gonna see the character. So if you use that excuse, and millions of other stupid people use that excuse, then the stupid people up there in Gearbox are gonna say the same thing. Oh, well, it doesn't matter because they're not gonna see it, so we're not gonna change anything.
The art style. I've heard a lot of people disappointed that this game looks like Borderlands 3. If you don't like the art style of Borderlands 3 and Wonderlands, that's fair. It's not for everyone. I get it. But if you're surprised it looks like 3, are you dumb? Are you stupid? It's made by the same company in the same game engine. Why would you expect it to look different? Again, if you don't like the art style, that's fair and that sucks, but it was always going to look like this. Don't be shocked. All I'm hoping for is that they tone down the visual pollution. I'd love to play the game without having a seizure.
Alright. Let's all say this together, real Borderlands fans. Let's say it together. The original art style of Borderlands 1 and 2 is the reason why Borderlands became so memorable and a fucking household name in the FPS genre. Borderlands 1 and 2 and pre-sequel are amazing art styles because they're supposed to mix in cel-shaded art style with the mix of a comic book art style. The whole effing point of this game is that's supposed to be a deconstruction of the sci-fi fantasy genre, and it's supposed to parody the early 2000s realistic, Call of Duty crap that was coming out at the time. And by crap, I don't mean it's actually bad, but because, older, the Call of Duty was good. But anyway, the point of Borderlands is that it's supposed to be like, ooh, it looks like a kiddie game, but in reality, it's not. That's the whole point of the art style, and the art style looks great. It's it's a household type of art style. It's great. People who cosplays Borderlands characters, they look like something out of another world. That's how great the art style is. It's good looking. It looks cool, and the fact that they abandon it in the new games effing sucks. That's what everybody's complaining about. While these art styles in the new games don't look particularly awful because it doesn't make my eyes bleed or anything, it still misses the point. And it keeps the older Borderlands fans like me out of the picture because everybody who's complaining about it is complaining about it for good reason, because after they abandoned the art style and got all these new other people on board, the Borderlands franchise has never been the same, ever again. There's a reason to complain about this. I do hate the new art style in the new games because it doesn't reflect what the old games were like. It doesn't tell me that, oh yeah, we still have passion for the series. You know what game they should edit off of? Borderlands 2, and I understand the, the ending of Borderlands 2, it's supposed to be a cliffhanger because, all the keys are located all around the world or something, which doesn't make any sense, but whatever. But goddamn, did they ruin the whole, art direction with Borderlands 3 and New Tales from the Borderlands. I mean, at least Tales from the Borderlands kind of went back to the older art style, but god, did the new games look like shit.
Sam Winkler. He's the narrative director for Borderlands 4. That has a lot of people nervous since he also worked as a writer on Borderlands 3. The writing for Borderlands 3 was pretty bad. But do you actually know what he did on Borderlands 3? Was he there from the beginning, or did he come in midway through to do the best with what he was given? Maybe look into that before making judgments. It's the second one, by the way. Development for Borderlands 3 started in 2015, and Sam didn't work on it until June of 2016. But he also wrote for the Borderlands 3 DLCs, which were really good. He also wrote for Wonderlands, which I thought had pretty decent writing.
So let's right off to the side that you think that Tiny Tina's Wonderland is a good DLC. So let's talk about the other stuff. First of all, the only good DLC that came out of Borderlands 3 was the Handsome Jack one, and the other ones just kind of suck. So let's say, for instance, that this is like the Fallout New Vegas effect, where some really shitty writer actually makes a good game for once with great writing. That doesn't mean anything. Just because Sam Winkley came in halfway throughout the game and it still turned out really bad, shows that he couldn't save the game, and we should all still be worried. If the original creators or writers from Borderlands 1, 2, and pre-sequel aren't here, then I don't care. It's gonna be bad. If the original good writers aren't here, then why should we not be worried? I don't understand this thought process. Oh, Sam Winkler came in way later, so that means that he might be good, guys. Just keep hope. Buy our games. Buy our games. I really don't understand this mindset that, because he came halfway throughout and then he made some okay DLCs, then that means it's good or whatever. It's no, we should all still be worried.
He also did not write for New Tales from the Borderlands, which is the best testimonial you can give him. The point I'm trying to get at is if you're worried about Borderlands 4 because Sam Winkler helped write Borderlands 3, just remember that Anthony Birch, the lead writer for Borderlands 2 and Tales from the Borderlands, also wrote for New Tales. So sometimes good people do bad things.
It's almost like New Tales from the Borderlands isn't canon or something, and the one good writer that was from Borderlands 2 that was on this shitty game really did not care about it because, one, it's not canon to him, and two, he wanted to work on other things. That doesn't mean he's a bad writer, he just didn't care about it as much, because why would he? It's not one of the main series games. No one cared about New Tales from the Borderlands. Why do you think it looks and feels so different from the rest of the franchise? I can't even keep a straight face. I can't believe he's using this as an argument to say, Sam Winkley might do a good thing because, this good writer did a bad thing one time. It's okay, but that's not even the main series games. It doesn't even make any sense. And first of all, Randy Pitchford, my bad, Anthony Birch, was with other people, so we don't know how much of the writing he actually did in those two games. Borderlands 2 and, all the other games, we don't actually know. So where are the other writers for this? Just because Sam Winkley came halfway through the game, and the fact that he did any writing for Borderlands 3 scares me. I mean, well, it scares other people. I'm not gonna buy the game. I'm not gonna buy Borderlands 4. I'm not wasting my money on that shit.
Sam has publicly said that he didn't like the overuse of toilet humor in Borderlands 3, so at least that's a good sign. Somehow people have taken that tweet to mean Borderlands 4 will be serious. I'm gonna explain this slowly. Toilet humor is humor about things that go in the toilet, so poop and piss jokes, right? He said he's critical of that type of humor. He did not say he's against the idea of comedy as a concept. Borderlands 4 is still gonna be silly and goofy and will have pop culture references. It just won't have as much of that specific type of humor.
That's like saying you're not left-leaning just because you thought that The Last of Us 2 wasn't bad. Everyone knows The Last of Us 2 wasn't bad. Everybody knows that the humor in Borderlands 3 sucks. It doesn't mean you're smart for realizing it's bad. Sure, the humor in Borderlands 2 wasn't written super well, but then you realize what it could have been by playing Borderlands 3 and you go Sam Winkley isn't a smart person because he realized the humor in Borderlands 3 is bad. Anybody with half a brain can realize it's bad. That doesn't mean he's gonna make good humor in the next game at all. It's such a dumb argument to make. And yeah, I kind of agree with the thing with the seriousness with Borderlands 4. That doesn't really make sense. That just because someone realized the humor in Borderlands 3 was bad means that the game's gonna be serious or whatever. But my point still stands that just because he knows that Borderlands 3 has shitty humor, that doesn't mean he's smart or funny in the slightest.
Ava, you can't talk about Borderlands 3's writing without talking about the most annoying, shrill, and painful to listen to people in the community, the Ava haters. Don't get me wrong, I don't like Ava, and if you don't like Ava, I'm probably not talking about you. I'm talking about the people that hate Ava so much that they demand she isn't even in the game. They want Gearbox to forget they ever wrote her into existence.
Well, yeah, she sucks. Why do you think Jar Jar Binks isn't in Star Wars games or movies anymore? It's because he sucks and no one likes him, so they pretty much deleted him out of the Star Wars universe. Ava does nothing for the story. She got Maya killed because she was a dumb little baby bitch. She caused a lot of problems for everybody. She blamed Lilith for Maya's death, even though it wasn't her fault. It was Ava's fault. And, you know, the fault of the twins, whatever they're called. Like, Ava's pointless. She doesn't do anything for the story. And she already did her arc anyway. She became a siren. Who cares about what she does now because she's such a shitty character? Unless you can redeem her the best you can, why not, you know, like, I don't understand why they didn't release more DLC for Borderlands 3 to redeem Ava when people notice how bad she was, you know? Like, it's just so weird that they would make a character like that and not even try anything to redeem her. It's almost like the team knows that she's bad. So why not just delete her from the game? There's no point. She doesn't do anything. She's stupid. She's pointless. She just causes problems for everybody. Yes, get her out of the game. Get her out. We don't want her.
If she's in the game, they won't even buy it. They won't even look at it. They'll spit in the face of anyone who mutters the name Ava unless it's followed by deserves to die in a fire. If you think I'm exaggerating, then you aren't on Twitter, and I recommend you keep it that way.
Why are you taking Twitter seriously?
I still think they should have made Ava the playable siren.
No.
It's not a dating sim. Why do you care who the characters want to fuck?
Oh boy, that was quick. He didn't even, he didn't even talk about it that long. That's pretty funny. Now, I'm gonna say this for the record. I don't think, well, I mean, kind of. I think Borderlands 2 is kind of woke, I guess. I'm not, as much as I played the game, I haven't seen anything that woke, really, unless there was something I was missing in the story. I guess there was an implied lesbian or something at that point. But you gotta understand that Borderlands 2, it's so well written and it's not in your face, so I don't really remember any real woke stuff in Borderlands 2, but I could be wrong. Again, I would have to like look at every single piece of dialogue to understand what was woke and what isn't. But the fact with Borderlands 2 is that there's this weird atmosphere about it that's very strange. It was very weird when I first saw it. And while I don't think Borderlands 3 is the wokest thing ever made or something, there definitely is a weird air that breathes in that game. Just a very strange aura that possibly somebody with a dress and pink hair made this. Oh wait, Borderlands 2 has a bisexual robot and will ban you if you get his pronouns wrong in multiplayer. The leader of the Jacobs faction and Sir Hammerlock are actually in a gay relationship in that game, which wouldn't have been a problem if it wasn't shoved in my face every 5 seconds about how I'm reminded about it. Like, in Borderlands 2, yes, he was gay. Sir Hammerlock was gay, but it was just more of, like, implied or something, and it was, like, this hidden dialogue, and, you know, the characters would say something every now and then. They didn't actually put it in my fucking face. I still don't think I would have cared very much if, again, it wasn't in my face. Third of all, the woke developers of Borderlands 3 actually defend Sweet Baby Inc., which made shitty games such as Suicide Squad, and you guys still don't think the game is going to be woke with Borderlands 4. Oh my god, these patterns these people don't recognize. It's not like we care who's effing who. I mean, you know, I'm a Christian, so I believe that, you know, effing a man is wrong or whatever, but it's not necessarily the issue. The issue is that it's gonna be in our faces, and we don't want to see gay crap in our games, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, you know, games like Persona or Catherine and all those games, you know, they got trans characters and gay characters and stuff like that. But for some reason, it's like anime can do it better than American Western games. It's like when Westerners try to do woke stuff, it's just cringe, you know? But it's like when Japan does it, it's actually fine. So maybe if Borderlands 4 went the Catherine angle and did it that way, it wouldn't be so bad. But you know what they're going to do in Borderlands 4. They're going to put in your face every single piece of dialogue that the couple's going to make about their relationship, and you're just going to hear it everywhere for the rest of the game. So yeah, no, not looking forward to Borderlands 4. It's going to be woke, dude.
At the end of the day, it's important to remember that your opinion is not the only opinion. Other people exist, apparently, and as scary as that fact is, we're gonna have to come to terms with it.
What kind of argument is that? Oh, you don't like how this is going? Well, you're just going to have to deal with it. So, like, he'll say that, oh, everyone's opinion matters and your opinion matters, but you're just gonna have to deal with what the game developers want to do anyway. Do you know how stupid that is? If a video game developer is making dumb decisions, it's gonna make their fans go away and make their fans hate the games and the franchise more. Why the hell would you just tell people, hey, you just gotta deal with it, you just gotta deal with it, you know, your opinion matters, but not in this moment, okay? And it's like, what the fuck, man? It's like, that's such a stupid argument to make. That's so dumb. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I can't handle this guy. He's so fucking shitty. I can't take it anymore. So your opinion does matter, but not at the moment. Okay, yeah, alright, yeah, just let the developers do whatever. Keep showing the game, dude. Please keep showing the game. You're the best guy we need on YouTube to tell us what to do with our money and our time and our minds. I really hate people like this who are Shillers. I hate Shillers so fucking much. Is he getting paid by these people? Is he getting paid by Gearbox to promote this game or something like that? Like, why in the world would a Borderlands fan be okay with any of this? Why? You're not a fan, dude. You're just fucking shill. That's all you are. You're a shill. You're a shill. And I hate you.
This game isn't gonna be perfect for you. It probably won't be perfect for anybody, and that's okay. It'll probably be perfectly decent for most of the people that play it. And if you do hate it, if you hate everything about it, and you think it should never have been made in the first place, then you are free to be upset. But why make it other people's problem?
Make it other people's problem. Make it other people's problem. That's what he thinks. That's what he thinks we're doing. We're just trying to make it other people's problem. When in reality, we're just fucking pointing out the obvious issues with the game because you stupid ass shillers will keep playing the games despite them being bad. That's what we're complaining about. Stupid people like you who keep buying the games even though you know they're fucking bad. If you know that Borderlands 3 was bad and the movie is bad, why the hell would you have any hope for the fourth game? You stupid little man. You should know for an instance that this game is going to be bad. Because the last game was terrible, the pre-sequel was terrible, well, its story wasn't bad, but its gameplay was, and the movie was bad. Why do you have any hope the Borderlands 4 game will be good? You're a dumb shiller, and that's what we're calling out. Stupid people like you who keep funding these fucking companies. That's what we're angry about. That's what I'm angry about. That's why I hate Nintendo fans. That's why I hate casuals. I hate shillers. I hate them. And if you generally think this way about how video games should be critiqued, then you're just an idiot. How can you say your opinion matters, but if you say anything about the game, you're just making it other people's problems? Or, hey, you're just dumb. It's... fuck off. Even if that's not what you're implying, the fact that your words are just, oh, well, your opinion matters, but you're just gonna have to be okay with whatever they do. Like, that's such a stupid argument. You're just a shiller, dude. Just admit you're a shiller.
If someone's excited for this game or has any level of optimism, and you try to convince them that they should hate it too, the only two outcomes are they don't listen to you, in which case you wasted your time, or you successfully take away their joy.
Then they're just an idiot. You know, I wish people would just say, hey, I understand what you're saying, I get what you're saying, I know that the games are bad, and I know that they're terrible, but I'm gonna play them anyway. You know, why do you have to, like, have this bullshit, like, whole argument where it's like, oh no, well this is why the game's gonna be good, and this is why it's like, no, it's not gonna be good. If the last game was bad and the movie was bad, which I skipped all that he was talking about because it wasn't important, but if we're gonna make that argument, then yes, I would be worried too if the game and the movie is also bad. It's just like, why can't people just say they like shitty things, you know? Why do they have to, like, convince themselves that the thing that is bad is actually good. You know, it's like, what defines what's good and what's bad anymore? You know, like people will say, oh, Borderlands 3 was good. I'm like, no, it's not because of this and that. And they're just like, oh, well, it's your opinion. And it's like, okay, well then, like if I went up to like a dozen people and I told them Shadow the Hedgehog is one of the greatest games I've ever played, you know I would get shit on. So like, again, what defines what's good and what's bad anymore? Like, only smart people, I guess, know what's good or bad anymore. But it's like, the whole time I'm listening to these people, they just want to defend and be defensive about their favorite product or their favorite corporate company that doesn't even care about them, you know? Like, this whole video just feels like to me that he was just defensive about people saying that Borderlands 4 is going to be bad, even though it is. Like, it's generally going to be bad, you know? So, like, the story is going to be terrible. Just from the trailers, you can tell it's going to be bad. So, like, why would we have any hope for it? And it's like, oh, well... And he's like, he made this whole video because he's angry at people talking smack about Borderlands 4 because we know it's gonna be terrible, and he just got defensive about it. That's what this whole video feels like to me. Just a guy who was angry about other people's thoughts about Borderlands 4, and he just got mad, and he just ignores every red flag we have seen from Borderlands 3, the movie, and Borderlands 4 trailer. Just because it's a new game doesn't mean it's not gonna have the same issues, you know? And the fact that it has the same writers as Borderlands 3, that's a red flag. Kick Sam Winkler off the team, or all these other people who wrote the story for Borderlands 3, then maybe I would get hyped again. Make Borderlands 2 great again. Or make Borderlands great again, you know? Like, it hasn't been good for the past, like, I don't know, like 7 years at this point. So, because Randy Pitchford's an idiot. Anthony Birch, I don't know what happened, man. I mean, he's a good writer, but I don't know what happened to him. Like, all the creators from Borderlands 2 are just burnt out, man. They don't know what to do with this series anymore. There's nothing to do. After Handsome Jack is dead, it's like, what else is there to the story? You know? At least with Handsome Jack, we got a whole prequel. Do you think we're gonna get a prequel about the Calypso twins and whoever this woman's gonna be? No, I don't think we are. It doesn't make sense otherwise because no one likes these characters. I mean, maybe the Calypso twins could have had a saving grace if the story was better and Troy had like some redemption arc or something. I don't know, but it's like, but that's a topic for another time. I do plan to rant about Borderlands 3 one day, but you have to understand that this whole video you're making is just that you're angry that that people don't like the idea of Borderlands 4, because why would we? Borderlands 3 was bad, the movie was bad, Randy Pitchford sucks, like, there is no hope. We're not going to be hyped for Borderlands 4 because we know it's going to be bad. You're just a shiller, you're just a robot to this company, you're a Gearbox fanboy, and, you know, I wish you would just admit that that's what you are, but I guess not.
If you ask me, that's a shitty thing to do. There is one complaint that is completely reasonable that I have absolutely no way to disagree with. We don't know enough. The trailer showed us a lot, and also nothing at all.
Yeah, that's a red flag. If a game company doesn't want to show anything about their game, then that's a red flag. If the whole game is just a movie segment from a computer, then something's wrong, you know? Just from the trailer, just from the character designs, just from the idea of like this rehash of the villain from the first game just coming back and just turning the bandits into slaves or something, it's like, what the, like, fuck off, you know? Like, it's gonna be bad, it's stupid, it looks dumb. The fact that the art style isn't the same as it used to be is dumb. It looks like shit. That's what we're saying. It looks bad just from the trailer. And guessing on who's writing for Borderlands 4 and who the writers were for Borderlands 3 and the movies and all this stuff, we're not gonna be hyped for it, man, because we're smart and we're not shillers. We know this game is gonna be bad. The only miracle I could see that could happen is if Sam Winkler just had a redemption arc and he actually did make a good game, but that's not gonna happen, you know? Anthony Birch fell off, even though he's a good writer, which is sad. You know, he's the one who made Borderlands 2 great. You know, hopefully the other writers on Borderlands 3, you know, maybe they can have a redemption arc themselves, and maybe they can salvage Borderlands 4, but it doesn't matter at this point. Like, Borderlands 3 is no point of return. You know, the fact that they killed off certain fan characters just for shock value, the fact that the story makes no sense and just ruins Lilith's character, and like, where can you go? Like, where are they gonna take the story at this point? I just don't know what they're gonna do. It's like the new Star Wars games that are coming out. It's like, why? What are you gonna do with the story? Like, what is Gearbox gonna do with Borderlands at this point? You know, what's gonna happen? Like, even if they could salvage Borderlands 4, Borderlands 3 is gonna ruin, well, it's not gonna, it did. It's ruining Borderlands' reputation. Like, you can't come back from Borderlands 3. I'm sorry, but you can't. It's too bad. It's too awful. It's so awful, man. It's so bad. They're not gonna come back from this. You have to understand that. The reason why people are hating on this game isn't just because they're hating on it just to hate on it. There's an actual reason to hate on it. And knowing that Borderlands 3 ruined everything, and you can't come back from Borderlands 3, there is a complete, reasonable option of why people are shitting on this. They're shitting on it because it makes sense and it's justified. You're a shiller and you hate that people aren't liking Borderlands 4.
We didn't get any context for the things we saw. Like, okay, this place looks cool, but where is that? This person looks like she'll be a boss fight, but who are these people and why should I care about them? Break free, awesome, sure, from what and or who? We've gotten so many questions and very few answers.
It's almost like the trailer was bad or something. Alright, I'm done with this video. The rest of the video is just him just doing stupid critiques or something. I don't know. I can't with this video anymore, man. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm like losing my mind. Like I lost it. I lost it. Like the fact that I had to do retakes of this over and over just so my microphone wouldn't peak shows how angry I was getting during this. Like this whole video is just made by somebody who is a Gearbox shill, and he's just mad that people are saying bad things about Borderlands 4 before it came out, even though you can just judge it before it comes out because of what we've seen and who's writing for it. Like, yeah, that's a red flag to any smart person, dude. Like, we're not stupid for being cautious and, you know, we're not gonna buy Borderlands 4. You're the idiot who keeps supporting these companies, man. You're the moron who proves to these people, oh, we don't have to try anymore. They're just gonna buy the product anyway. So I'm done. My voice is dying. I need a drink. I need to drink heavily because I can't go on like this. I'm tired. My throat hurts. I've been screaming so much. So, if you guys enjoyed this video where I just get angry and furious, and I just scream, thank you guys for watching. Make this go to 1 million views, please. Thank you guys, and I will see y'all in the next one.